right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We are a little bit behind today, but we are gonna go ahead and rock the show out. And huh? No, you keep it right there. That's fine. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and play the intro song like we always do, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. I'm gonna go ahead and share this here on Facebook now, so that our listeners on Facebook can tune into the live broadcast. I hope you guys are enjoying the setup we have here. We are live in the studio now, so hopefully it is a good look, and we will be monitoring the comments. But today our show will be a little bit different because we're focusing more on the content versus creating the connection with you and looking at the camera. So just tune into the show. So Celia, how you doing today?
I'm well. I am well. I am well. I'm running a little late. I'm sorry.
It's all good. You
I
here
got on
now?
675, and Lord behold, there was an accident
Yeah. And it never fails. It never fails.
right
So
around ATL.
right. All right, we're gonna jump into the show. So the first topic, obviously, we are today is May 29th, 2020. And so there's been so many things happening over the last just 3, 4 days that is just absolutely insane. So with that being said, we are going to have a lot of topics to discuss. But the first topic I want to discuss with you, Celia, and with us, the listeners here, before I do that, this is the very first podcast. How does it feel being like in a studio and actually doing this for real?
It feels great, Raymond. It's magnificent.
Okay.
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is
You're
great.
going to have to get right into that mic because they
You
ain't going
did
to
a
really hear you.
great job. It is just magnificent. This is the first time I've been in a studio. Oh, country girl in a studio. I like it. It's a
Absolutely.
good feel. It feels great.
Right. And you're going to have to stay right up on here, pull it towards you a little bit. It's a boom. So pull it. There you go. And you might have to
Gotcha.
scoot your chair in a little bit because if you don't, they will not be able to hear you.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
All right. So it looks like we got some viewers. I've checked everything on my side as far as the stream and people being able to connect over. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Michelle Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama's her documentary on becoming the book that she wrote and
Mm.
made so many people happy.
Hmm.
Have you seen the documentary?
Oh, that's
How
my
what you think
girl.
about
Of
it?
course I did. I think it was just magnificent. I think it taught. I think she did it for a reason to show who she was, Southside Chicago,
Right.
and I think also she did it because to give girls a dream
Right.
that they could be first lady, they could become anything they want. It don't have to be first lady; it could be anything they want to do.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, seeing that film of seeing all that went into the tours and all of that, because when you're looking at it from a standpoint of being just in the world and not connected to behind the scenes, it just looks like somebody is just coming into town and doing just a show. But seeing the background and the interworkings of all of that and how they selected the moderators and the attention to detail that she had as far as pretty much everything she did and said, it was pretty cool to see that.
She has some. I mean, she has some top. Of course, her brother,
Right.
number one, and then her assistant. I can't think of her name now, but number one.
I think Michelle. I think her name isn't
No,
Michelle. Her
it's not
name,
Michelle. It's not Michelle.
yeah.
I can't, I can't think of her name.
She's
But
been with her a long time.
a long time. It was just beautiful to see how they worked and they. It felt like a. It didn't feel like they was under pressure. It felt like they loved to do it because she was a beautiful person. It felt
Melissa.
like Melissa.
Yeah.
It felt so to me. What I got from it with Michelle Obama, First Lady, when from the beginning to the end, it was easy because she was easy. She
Right.
let people be themselves, express themselves, but as long as you get the job done, and we good. And
Right.
she had professional, educated professionals.
Right. Educated professionals.
Yeah, they know their job. It don't have to come out of a book.
Right.
You don't have to learn out of a book. You can learn how to do something and just be good at it, become professional at it. And that's what she had. I don't know the educational background or anything, but everybody was very professional and educated, not educated, but well at a job. And it seemed like it was like you eat a piece of cake.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And I'm gonna. I stopped. I didn't even hit the record on the podcast button. So we're officially recording on the podcast on the actual system here. But we are also recording by way of Facebook.
Yeah.
So they still can. Not Facebook. Sorry, YouTube. So the audio is still there.
And what I
but-
liked, Raymond, was that the young girls that saw her,
Right. The inspiration.
oh wow,
Yeah.
and she gave them what they needed and brought out. It was one little girl I remember. It was two scared of fear who they were, and she said she could speak to a crowd. One was a young girl was gay, and she said she didn't have to hide anymore, and just being a voice.
Right. 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 Absolutely. Just
She
being
gave
that
them
voice.
their
Yeah.
voice. She gave
Yeah.
them their voice.
Yeah.
To be comfortable who they were, becoming who they are,
Right. Right.
which was lovely.
Yeah, and I think First Lady Michelle Obama, she's just inspirational just in itself, right? I mean, how can you just not be inspired just by her grace and her charisma?
I'm in
And,
love with the woman.
yeah, right. I mean, they are a
If I was
power.
gay, she'd be my first pick.
No. Hey, listen, I can't even be
If
mad
I
at
was
you.
the last one, she'd be my first pick.
That's it. That's it. Well, so, and speaking about Michelle Obama, right, and the Netflix documentary that featured the behind the scenes look at the tour and all of that stuff, but then you think about the climate that we're in, right, and you start talking about the hopeful President Joe Biden. He had the pleasure of serving as the vice president of the United States to the very first African American president. And for him to say what he said
Charlemagne the God.
to Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne the God, I adore. I adore him.
All right.
But I'm not making no excuses for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
He is 70-something years old, but
Right.
hey, what the hell? We think a fraud right now. but but we know Biden speaks before he thinks sometimes. That was a problem with him with President Obama. I don't think he has a racism bone in his body.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe it. I think he just sometimes speaks and he speaks freely. And I am guilty of that.
Right.
I would probably be on the
If you was
stretch. If I was because I speak on the
Right.
cuff.
Right.
And he speaks on the cuff.
Right.
Plus, he's an older guy, speaks on the cuff. I don't think it has nothing to do with racism. I think he did speak out of turn.
Right.
I really do. And he's saying, if you black, then you crazy if you don't speak for me.
Right.
If you don't vote for me. Because you got Trump.
Right.
Now, don't take the vote for lightly. Don't take it for granted.
Right.
Because we're not here to be taken granted anymore.
Right.
Nobody's vote.
Right.
Nobody's vote is here to be taken for granted.
She's pointing at the
And-
microphone color, guys.
And
If you can see that on the camera.
Charlemagne, the God. I don't even know why you
Charlemagne,
say that.
uh-huh.
Charlemagne. I feel guilty saying that anyway. But I think he has a terrific show.
Right.
But I don't think he took it real serious. I think the media take it out of context. I think they have a good relationship. I think Vice President Biden has got sort of toned, like I have to watch the tongue. Because
Right.
sometimes you get excited and you say things that you don't mean. And I don't think he meant it in a racial way, or I don't think he meant no harm. I really don't.
Right.
But I think he is a product of the old white prodigy, old white men, say what they want, They don't think because they're carefree.
Right.
Sometimes when you've been in a carefree environment all your life, you don't have to think before you speak
Right. Right. Because there's
because you
yeah,
got that freedom.
right, the privilege.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's where he was, and no, I think he just have to learn. But I don't think he has a racist bone in his body. I really don't.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get uh my cousin on the line here. He's gonna be our featured guest on the show today. We're gonna go ahead and get him in. Is it ringing? Let's see if he's okay. It's ringing. Don't hear it in there. Okay, there we go. So before Rodney answers the phone, uh, here he goes.
Sorry.
Hey, Rodney, you're live on the show, man.
Oh,
Hey,
what's
Rodney.
You're live on the show with me and Celia, and so we're just now discussing hopeful President Biden, and we were just talking about the comments that he made to Charlemagne the God, and all that stuff, and so tell me what your take is on that, Rodney, of what President elect. Well, I mean, I literally just said President elect. Hopeful.
Oh, we're gonna keep that. God is in the works.
All right, but tell us what you think about that situation, Rodney. I mean, do you think that Joe Biden is honestly taking, the black vote for granted, in your opinion?
Mm, I think somebody needs to give him some medication. Because he walking himself into a wall sometime, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna stay Democrat, so I'm gonna still vote for him anyway. But
Right,
yeah, somebody need to hurry up and put a hand on his shoulder and say, "Biden, my guy,
right,
you're tripping right now."
right. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think that the comment that he made, a lot of people want to say go to racism. I just think it goes just to audacity and privilege, which is one of the things we were getting towards. He has the audacity and he feels like he has the privilege to take or to even express that he could be potentially taking the black vote for granted. We got a comment on YouTube that says he's not taking the black vote for granted. But I mean, that comment definitely is hard to argue that. But yeah, but
He's not taking black folk for granted.
yeah, the watcher, the viewer on the show is saying that he is not taking the black vote for granted. Whereas in my belief, I think that he is straddling that fence of taking that vote for granted.
Well, let's keep on me. Hi, Cecilia. My bad. I ain't even say hi to you, and I just jumped right on by you.
Hey, how you doing?
But let's just keep it real one good time. Hey, some white people gonna be white people. So if they think that they cool and calm around us and they comfortable, sometimes it'll lead them to believe that they just all the way in. Just because you was friends with one don't mean that you all the way in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't think that Ro- Rodney. I don't think that the viewer is thinking that in that terms. I think she's thinking like me that he's not racist, but I am like I'm in between. I know I don't believe he's racist. I think like Raymond said, I'm piggyback off of that the privilege, being comfortable to be able to say what you want to say and not thinking before you say it. And that is when you say something like that, you're taking us for granted.
Mm-hmm.
When you saying that
But
if you black and you vote for Trump, that is taking me for granted. That's saying if you don't, you ain't got no other choice. You gonna come to me, and I can say, hell, I could jump off the doggone mountain too, and don't take neither one of you. That's what I could do, and you be to yourself. But you know, Really, in all true respects.
I mean, I
But we
understand
have
that,
to
but
vote
still,
because
it's
we have to
that.
vote in our best interest. And Biden is in
Right.
our best interest. Trump is going to do nothing
You
for
gotta
us.
dig deep in who you voting for.
We have to vote for our community. We have to stand up against anti Semitism. We have to stand up against racism for all people, any people that God made a person of any color, any whatever God born them to be. We have to stand up and let that person be free and live out their life truly to God, want them to be. We cannot hold people back for what God, the beauty that God made them. I think the viewer, I do believe the viewer is just thinking like, I don't have no other choice, and the hope is biting, and that's my hope. I mean, when you look at it, all true. But I think
Well, you
piggybacking
gotta
off of
think too
Raymond,
that social media has taken over every aspect of this situation that's occurring right now.
Yeah.
Either way you want to put it, we can be all manipulated about what we're seeing
Right.
because
so true.
everything is a negative light right now.
Yeah, because I
So when I
truly don't.
say
Yeah, you're
when
right.
when I say when white people some white people gonna be white people and they feel comfortable enough to be around us and they forget that they're around us and they start getting a little too comfortable at the mouthpiece, should I say, and they talk different. So for him to sit there and say, I ain't saying it's right. I ain't saying none of that.
Hmm.
I'm just saying I always thought something wrong with him even the first time he had his battle with Trump. you know. So I mean, ain't nobody else done came forward past this man, so he all I got. you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm just saying though, because I done been around, what I'm saying, some white people who were cool, and I done been around some who was just on that level, but never stepped to me because I ain't gonna say because of the type of person I am, but it is the type of person that I am. I do speak my mind very quickly,
There's
and
nothing
I
wrong
will
with
let
that.
you know when you too fast. So but I'm just saying, it's never been to a point where I had to actually check opposite race person. You know what I'm saying? To
Hmm.
say, hey man, you out of line right there. I ain't never had to worry about nothing like that. But times
Right.
are changing, and see, my mindset has to change with the time that's going on. Just like right now, they done tore up downtown Atlanta right now. But I ain't gonna say downtown. I'm gonna say they done tore up a little bit of CNN right now. Vandalized a bunch of some windows. They going ham right now. I
Wow.
can understand that frustration. And I'm glad the police ain't really, trying to be all bully right now. But at the same time, though, this is another thing I think people need to realize that I understand where y'all coming from, but when you taking the anger out on the wrong thing,
Right.
let's go to their
Yes.
neighborhood and fuck their
Yeah,
neighborhood up
that's
one
right.
time.
Yeah.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Let's
That's
go to
right.
their neighborhood and they knock their shit down one time. Let their ass come to
No,
our neighborhood and
no,
spend their
no,
goddamn money.
no, no. You can't.
That's how I
You
feel
can't do
right now
no
because of the
neighborhood.
situation.
You got to
Right.
keep. We got to stay on a Martin Luther King level. We got to stay on a spiritual, cleanliness, peaceful level, but be straight of what we want and be
Well,
clear about
But
what we want. But
but
violence.
see,
But
it's too much
I don't
videos out there.
condone no violence. But I understand
Nah,
the
you ain't supposed
frustration.
to.
yeah.
Right.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. I think we definitely have made our point clear about Vice President Biden and his comments about not being black. If you got to think about voting for him, but at any rate, we're gonna move on to Trump. We got President Trump is put a part of the show today, reluctantly.
It should be every day.
Every day, right? Every day. And this is Friday for all of you guys who are watching for the first time via YouTube, or if you're listening to this podcast for the first time. We come live every Friday. We stream the actual recording of the podcast. So if you want to be a part of that, go over there to YouTube and type in New Wave Real Talk in the search bar, and you will be taken to our YouTube page where you can subscribe and tune into the live recording of the podcast. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic of today. Trump controversy over wearing a mask, a facial mask. The thing that he said that we would move towards in order to open the country back up. And now he says masks are silly and
I
not
want
needed.
you to. Could I ask you something, Raymond? Could you just spell out mask?
Spell the word mask.
Mhm.
MASK.
Isn't that simple?
Well, yeah, it's pretty simple.
It's simple as putting on your face. That's why. That's my point.
Okay, I didn't
That's
know where
my
you were going
point.
with that for a
That's
minute.
my point. It's so simple. And the leader
Right.
of the free world doing this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's but my thing with the mask and him not wanting to wear a mask, it's not only just for him, but it is also for the other people. So today is the 29th. We just passed Memorial Day. The media had people on the beach and they quoted them saying, if he does not wear one, I'm not wearing one. And they also said that we all gotta die at some point.
My Lord, I hope they got their souls right.
Well, people gonna be crazy, man. You know,
Yeah, we just can't excuse it
that's
as
just the human
craziness.
side of life right there.
But Trump has to definitely take some responsibility
Yeah.
for that, for sure.
Yeah, he has
100%.
to, but he
100%.
ain't though.
But yeah, he's
He
not.
ain't though.
Yeah,
We
no, he's
don't
not.
care. We don't care if he take it. We holding him responsible. It's gonna go down in history. The book's gonna read what he did. He's responsible for 100,000 deaths. He's gonna be responsible for this.
Yeah.
That's his plan though.
I don't care what his plan
Oh,
is.
that's his plan.
History has another plan.
Yeah, that's his plan. He want to become one of the greatest.
He don't have a plan.
President.
What plan
Why
does
is
he
this?
don't
Why
have a
is this?
plan?
Watch this. Watch this now. I'm gonna make plenty of sense right now. Watch this.
Go ahead.
He wants to
talking
become
about
one
Trump?
of the greatest presidents to ever have a country that was so in debt, so badly put on, so this and so that, to where at the end, you want to make it seem like that he just came out on top and did everything for everybody.
Think about
That
what
way,
you
when
just
he walk
said.
away from this presidency, he gonna always have that rock over his head what he done did.
Think about what you just said.
That's how he is.
You just killed him yourself.
Well,
Think
he's
about
not.
what you
Well,
just
well,
said.
Rodney is not a Trump supporter, so he
No,
doesn't
but he just killed him.
elaborate.
Well, he said he think he gonna walk away with being the best president ever.
Well,
Well,
I mean, but that's what Trump can think.
that-
He can
that-
think that if he wants
He can
to.
think all he wants. But we know he has
What
not
he
been
say
thinking.
about
That's
that
the problem.
stimulus
He
check?
has not been thinking.
Yeah,
What do you
he
say
never
about that
thinks.
stimulus check?
What did he say about the stimulus check? Which one? The first one or?
Well, I
The
got
first
mine,
one
and
that first came
I
out. The
saved
first
it.
one when everybody got their stimulus check, what did that man say as soon as he went to the media board? What did he say?
He's so
They should
crazy.
be
We don't
happy to
even know.
have my name on the check.
Oh yeah, he
Oh,
stopped
yeah.
the production. Yeah, it's got to have his name on it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the check has
Come
some
on,
big.
man.
Everything
That
is
man
like a big,
self-centered.
it's like a EKG wave. His signature look like an EKG wave.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
That man look like he been standing in a bright light, like just face all in the light. You know, like
No,
one of
he's
them
been in
hot
the
lamps.
tanning booth because it misses his eyes. He got goggles on.
Lord have mercy.
But back to the mask, I think I was troubled in the very beginning when they put out that young children and young adults between the ages of, I would say, between the babies, between the 12 to, I say, 40, that they didn't have to, or 55. And now we're seeing they're dying.
Right.
And the babies, I can't even elaborate on the children. And we're still open up the government.
Without mask.
Without mask. And he is, because he want to look macho, he want to look tough.
Right.
It's like, it reminds me of when a man said he didn't want to wear a pink shirt. But
Right.
come to find out, pink was developed for a man.
Oh,
And
wow.
blue for a girl.
What?
And men
Hold
look
a-
so
hold a
wonderful.
minute. Hold a minute. You're gonna
And-
have to. Now that ain't the part of the show. How in the world you come up
We're
with
not
this?
going to go there.
Lord have mercy. All right,
But
we're gonna
that
take
is
a
a
break
fact.
real quick. I want to roll something real fast. It's a little bit of advertisement. This is our first episode here on the podcast, but I wanted to give back to someone that I know who is not expecting this. So we're gonna roll this, and we'll be right back, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am doing something very different this podcast. With this being the first official podcast, I want to do something to give back, something to help someone else. Because this podcast is all about empowering others to start to think out loud. That is how this podcast was created. I wanted to think out loud. And therefore, what better way than a podcast? But I want to do something a little bit different. And I want to shout out a business that I personally believe in. And I want to share it with all of you. So if you live in the Atlanta metropolitan area and you have a child between the ages of 2 through 5, and you're looking for a facility to prepare your child for the next step of schooling, then you need to look at no other place except a Step at a Time Early Learning Center. Early Learning Academy. They're located at 6361 Roosevelt Highway, Union City, Georgia, 30291. The phone number for the facility is 678-519-4062. Definitely go over and check this facility out. This facility was created by a good friend of mine. We went to high school together. She started her own daycare facility, an in-home facility, and within a year, she grew it to a commercial facility. She is quality rated. She is fully licensed. So if you have a child between the ages of 2 and 5 that you're looking for daycare services for, and not only just daycare services, but to educate them, to get them ready for the next step of pre-K and kindergarten, this facility is what you need. So go over there and check out a Step at a Time Early Learning Academy. I don't think you'll regret it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first advertisement of the podcast. How about that? So hopefully she can get some business from that. Probably not, but hey, it's worth a shot.
We're not gonna say no.
Right, we're not gonna say no. Well, we're gonna go ahead and keep moving into the show. The next topic of the show is Twitter and Trump. Trump says that he is going to take Twitter off the map, baby. The very tool that got him elected by being off the cuff, unfiltered, unpresidential, and just a complete idiot is the thing now that he is attacking the most. How about that? But it also says that in history, the people you love, the people or things you typically love the most are the things that you treat the worst. He talked about the media every day, but without the media, President Trump would not be the president of the United States, period, hands down. You agree, right?
Exactly. I mean, he has been tweeting up a storm. I remember Lindsey Graham before Lindsey Graham got pimped out by him. That's what I call it. Yeah, he's pimped out. He look like he's been medically shocked with an electrical shock or something. I don't know if Trump got something on him or what. But anyway, I remember he was talking about this, and he said, take the Twitter machine from him. A lot of the Senate was saying he needs to start with the Twitter. And Twitter has been his go-to. Twitter is his platform. And now he's saying, oh, I'm going to shut him down. The president, these people are free. They capitalists. I mean, you're talking about a self-owned made business. If he start this with Twitter, where would it stop? If he don't like what somebody says, then Twitter, is the free press. And remember, Twitter is under the law of the 230C. I believe it's the 230C. The under. So it's under the free protection of the law,
right.
Of free press.
Right.
So Twitter has gave him this platform where he stood on. He has not been on Facebook. He has not been on Instagram. He has not been on.
Right. Yeah. Twitter is definitely the thing that.
Twitter has been his platform.
Yeah.
1 million viewers. Now he's saying he will shut down his account from Twitter because Twitter went and fact checked him on voting suppression.
And what did they find? What did they find?
They find no evidence of voter fraud. They find it was rarely done, and within the 10 years, it has been did like 31 times. Right. So It is crazy. They found so he gets upset because Twitter they did not check him on Joe Scarborough, which is on MSNBC, Joe Morning Show, which I love. Mika and Joe Scarborough. Oh, I just love them. I watch them every morning when I'm getting dressed. Well, because Joe has been saying that he's been wrong and he has not been, in the face of COVID-19 and addressing these people that's losing their loved ones by the dozen, and he has not stepped up in leadership of the free country of America.
Right.
And he has been doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So he takes it out on Joe Scarborough, talking about one of Joe Scarborough's young lady that worked in his cabinet when he was there as a representative. She had a heart condition. So I'm sorry, I missed her name right now. Matter of fact, I don't even want to say her name because her husband, he's been a widower almost 30 years. It shouldn't even be brought up. He has, and the mother and the father or any relative shouldn't have even go through this. And
Right.
he's saying that Joe Scarborough killed her. I don't even want to put her name out there. Let her rest in peace. May God be with the family and the husband, the widower of her. But the husband says she had a heart condition. She fell, she hit her head, and she passed about 28 years ago.
Right.
He brings up this ludicrous, crazy, full of exaggerations about Joe Scarborough.
So
which
that
a
is
Republican.
that. So that's
He's
the
a
reason
Republican
why.
also.
That's the reason why he is upset at
Yes,
Twitter.
So Mika, which is Joe Scarborough's wife, and Joe Scarborough was reporting it. So they have just been reporting that they've been on him for a minute. But anyway, he don't like what Joe Scarborough has been saying because Joe Scarborough is a Republican, Mika is a Democrat, and they are married. But he wants him to be the old boy, good boy network. Don't talk,
Gotcha.
But Joe he's a Republican, but he's one of the sensible Republicans. And he just went after Joe Scarborough. So they've been saying, stop it. Joe Scarborough didn't ask to stop this. The family of the deceased white young lady that died many years ago saying, let her rest. Don't defame my wife, my daughter.
Right.
He gets mad because now Twitter didn't fact check that. They fact checked voter registration for all.
Gotcha.
So Twitter should have fact checked because he have lied. He has really blew the mic up. It's just
Gotcha.
on fire. It's just on fire. It's just burning. It's in flames.
Gotcha.
I mean, really. But I think they did it, so I think they got under his skin when they went for voter fraud.
Right.
And it was a good move when you think about it. But Twitter and Facebook asked for this because they should have put a handle on it because they've been before Congress several times. And they should have stood up to him a long time ago. If you give the beast meat, what are you going to do? Tear into it.
Right.
And they gave the beast meat. And they've been giving it to him. They've been acting like they was chickens from Silicon Valley. And now he's attacking Silicon Valley. And what he want to do. Do you understand what his intention?
What is his intention?
His intention is to go before the
Now who? Because ladies and gentlemen, when you're listen to this show, Celia has a tendency to she can talk, and so I try to slow her down a little bit, and so we can get okay. So who is the person you're talking about now? You talk about Trump. What is his mission?
His mission is to shut down Twitter, social media,
Okay.
Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
But first
Really
of all,
can't do that, though.
Right. He can't do that legally.
no, he cannot do that. He cannot do that. But he has to go through channels.
Right.
And let me find him.
All right, I'm looking for the video now where it outlines the executive order that he is attempting to do. Basically,
he signed that yesterday.
I'm gonna try to play the sound here. Let me go ahead and play the sound here for everybody so we can make some sense of what we're saying here. Well, we gotta let this load up. I should have had the video downloaded, But anyway, we're gonna. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the show, if you're tuned in down to the live stream, you're trying to figure out where we are. We're talking about President Donald Trump and his threats to take down Twitter. So I'm gonna attempt to play this audio real fast here, and I don't hear the audio playing. Hold on.
While you're waiting on that,
Go ahead.
He has to go through the Commerce of Department of the Federal Communication Commission. He has to go through them, which is they have to do a new regulation.
Okay, hold on. Oh, I can't hear. Hold on one second. I think I got the audio here. Hold on one second. I'm going to try to bring it into the show. I don't know if that was already on there, but let's go back here.
The president is going to be signing an executive order on social media tomorrow, but we don't know what that executive order is going to entail, what it's going to include. I've reached out to Facebook and Twitter for their response to this. They both said they have not seen the text, and without seeing the text, they cannot have any comment. So no comment yet from Facebook and Twitter. Now, we don't know what this executive order will entail, but I do want to note that this comes after President Trump has been in a bit of a standoff with Twitter. It started when Twitter put some warnings that there might be potentially misleading information in two of the president's tweets. This is the first time Twitter's ever done this. And in response, the president tweeted threatening to shut down social media platforms for being biased and silencing conservative voices. And he tweeted that big action was to come. So this could be the big action. But it's unclear what this executive order.
All right, so I mean, basically, the president
he has to go through the Federal Trade,
okay,
the FCC,
okay,
in order to do it, to do new regulations.
But he's already signed an executive order.
He signed it, but it's already law.
Right.
So it's like he got to go. It's like trying to. You got to make a whole new law.
Got it.
The FCC officials have already, and remember, they are independent of him.
Who is they? The
FCC.
Okay. All right. The Federal
they're
Communication Commission?
Yes.
You know what he need to be signing? You
What
know
he
what he
need to
need to be signing?
Oh,
He need to be signing the order towards hate crime.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Let's go to wrap this
the
segment.
Federal Trade Commission
Are you
report.
trying to sign some paper to stop somebody from tweeting? Yo, look, come on, man. Don't nobody care what you're talking about.
Right.
The Federal Trade Commission is independent of Trump.
Right.
So he is trying to really break the establishment of the government
Right.
and set new orders.
Well, that's been what his mission
but
is all along.
Both the left and the right, Democrats and Republicans, seeing it going nowhere.
Gotcha.
Because he don't have that jurisdiction.
I gotcha.
He does not have it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a tough time at that for sure.
But
it's all about
remember this.
Trump.
He said this. He is wanting to fight, and the reason why he wants to fight, it would take him off COVID-19. It would take him off exactly.
I mean, Trump has always done this.
Right. So
he's always deflected.
So he's thinking that this is gonna give a win for him.
Go ahead, Rodney.
Don't Trump got a boss? He got a boss, right? Who is his boss?
God.
It's supposed to be the American people, really.
That's right. Well, how many of us is it?
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Now.
Right.
I'm just trying to point out something. You know what I'm saying? Don't he got a boss?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So here we are as the people allowing him to talk like that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know
That's
how
why
he came
now
up
we
with that
trying to
because
stop that.
the Federal Trade Commission, they really supposed to be for the people, the consumer, a protection of the consumer, and to have free rights and free speech. And he's trying to shut that down, which he would shut himself down. He would shut himself down from Twitter, which he uses as his platform. So I don't understand why would he even.
Go ahead, Rodney.
You know why?
Let him get in there.
I tell you why. I tell you why he would shut Twitter down. It's all about New World Order. It's all about control. If you take away choice, what choice do you have?
Right.
You can't take away Twitter and not take away choice. Because
Mhm.
choice in Twitter is freedom of speech.
Right. Right. Yeah, got a point there.
Sourcing Twitter is bare
Definitely.
arms. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And then what's going on? He's breaking down codes out there. He's sprinkling little pellets to all his little minions that's gonna come out at night, and you know what I'm saying, try to make it seem like that it's us out there breaking these windows.
Right.
You know, and starting these fires. Not saying that it ain't now. I'm just saying he's got people that's our color too working for him.
Right. Yeah.
It ain't just one side. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, all those folks who voting with Trump, talking about Trump, pro-Trump, this and that, man, come on, man.
Right.
All it is New World Order. I take away your choice to do anything. I control anything that you try to do. Reason why you got the situation going on right now.
Right.
100%, Rodney. 100%. New World Order. If you don't wake up, you will be in a dictatorship.
Right.
And that's what he wants.
Right. Well, let's.
He's trying to go communist, man. That's communist move right there, man. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's definitely a very interesting dynamic. Trump always, it reminds me of a kid. Really, it reminds me of a toddler that
I really don't
is.
like talking about
Yeah, we're gonna move on, but he reminds me of limit testing. That's what they call it. Psychologists call it limit testing, where he pushes and pushes and pushes to see how much can I really get away with. He did that on the campaign when he said that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not suffer any consequences for it. So he's always been about limit testing and all that stuff. So, but let's go ahead and move on to France banning his hydroxychloroquine. And I say his because Trump, he advocated towards that drug better than anybody. So France has officially banned the drug from their country, at least for treatment of COVID-19 and the accessibility of it, the readily accessibility of it without having a condition outside of COVID-19. I personally think it was a good idea.
Definitely. France had to pull it because they did a study.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
And they wasn't the only one that did a study. I mean, the United States did a study and it failed.
But they was a leader.
Yeah.
They was a leader in it.
Mm-hmm.
France was the number one leader in doing this test, and they was doing 36 people. And what they was finding in their test, they was way above us.
Mm-hmm.
And what they find is that when they did an EKG,
Mm-hmm.
they was finding what you call it's almost like QT.
Right.
I had to get it out of my mind. Like, I'm not talking about Quick Trip. It is the quadrum of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Yeah, the quadrum of the heart to, a T bypass in the heart. So what was happening? It was blocking it. Mm-hmm. So when they was doing the EKGs, they was finding out they had to pull it. The people was really having heart problems, and they say no more. And they did it for months. I can't remember the months now. I'm sorry. But the the hospital center of Nice, that's who was doing it. Okay. And they found out every patient was showing the symptoms in the EKG and cardiovascular. It was having serious problems. Before these patients would have these serious problems, they pulled the drug.
Gotcha.
So you cannot get it. And American doctors, we did a study, but we don't have serious data on it. But what America did, the doctors, physicians decided they're just not going to fulfill the prescriptions.
Right.
So if you want it, you're not going to get it.
Right.
And Canada also.
Right. Speaking of hydroxychloroquine and the COVID-19, the numbers in Georgia are what's the last check on the numbers for COVID-19?
This is crazy. When we opened, I believe we was at like 12, the state of Georgia. We was around like 12,000. Now we like around, I think it was like 42,000.
Okay, I haven't checked.
I'm pretty sure, yes, I checked. We was like 17. I'm pretty sure 18,000 deaths now.
In the state of Georgia.
The state of Georgia. Now, Alabama.
18,000 deaths?
No.
18,000.
I'm sorry, 1,800.
1,800. I was about to say
18,000.
18,000. That don't seem right. Okay.
Shut down.
Okay.
Yeah, 1,800 deaths. And before we opened up, I think we was around about close to 1,000 deaths and 12,000 people exposed to COVID-19. Now we're at like 40. I want to say 42,000
Mm.
that's infected, and they saying this is because it's more testing is being done.
Right. People
So
are
you
you're
start testing
you're
more.
noticing how many are
Yeah,
affected.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the Montgomery, Alabama, has been overran.
Right.
Montgomery is overran.
The ICU.
The ICU has no more beds.
All right.
There's no more ventilators.
All right.
So I guess somebody
Yeah,
would
that's
bring
crazy.
some in, and they was putting people in the hallway.
Right.
Nobody's talking about Florida. Florida is trying to keep the numbers hid. This is my belief,
Mm-hmm.
but Florida they has the highest unemployment, and they're becoming in the South the highest in COVID-19.
Gotcha.
Yet Disney World want to open up. All the fun parks want to open up. The beaches are open up.
There's a reason behind that, though.
Well, look at George. All you got to say is George Washington, baby.
All right. Yeah, there is a
There's a
reason.
reason.
There is a reason.
There's a
I
reason
think.
Dollar
behind
bill.
that.
Yeah, I think that the
I mean,
reason.
that's also true, but then that's also controlled population, man. You know,
Right.
this is a war chemical, man.
Right.
You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? This ain't just a
Yeah, but war chemicals is a
regular
strong
Well,
statement.
flu
I
that
don't-
we
Yeah.
used to get back in the days.
No, it
That's
was
when
fabricated.
That's when I think people
Yeah.
change it.
Yeah, it was definitely created. It was man made, and it was created to do something. Now, your own belief,
to control population.
right? I mean, your own belief can come to whatever conclusion you want to come
Right.
to. But I think we all know that it was something that was this virus is not just in the atmosphere. It was created for sure. Well,
I mean, we can take that back to the CU
Well,
experiment.
let's
you know what I'm saying?
let's
So,
debunk that. I have to debunk that.
okay, go ahead.
Because,
What's your take? So
COVID-19
I want to hear this debunk.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have to really do because I can't leave it standing there that people think that COVID-19 was developed in a lab in a test tube
I believe
in
it was.
a what you call it the test.
It was under a
the growth te-
microscope.
No, no,
and
no.
well,
no.
where
they created-
did it come from?
Absolutely
Then?
not.
Where did it come
Because
from?
when
Yeah.
I
Where
was in
did it come
nursing
from?
school, I saw coronavirus then.
Well,
Out of
coronavirus,
bats.
but here's the
It
thing.
was way back
Out
then.
of bats.
Here's the thing. It's a different strand, Celia. This COVID, so novel
different
coronavirus
numbers.
19 is no other, and nowhere in the
18,
world
21.
has the DNA, the RNA of this virus been seen in the world. Coronavirus
You
is
didn't
a
see
form
SARS.
of
You didn't see Ebola.
right, but this strand, the makeup of this strand is completely different from the common, because the common cold is a coronavirus.
No.
No, it is. Look it up. The common cold is a form of the coronavirus. It's a
Well, they
respiratory
want to
infection
attach it to it, but it's more deadly. But here's
because
the
it's
thing.
new. They created it in China.
every
This is the
decade,
Wuhan virus. That's one thing. Now here's the thing. I don't agree with Donald Trump on much of anything, but him actually blaming this on China is something that I 100% agree with.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I don't believe it was in a peach dish. That's for sure.
It may not have been in a peach dish, but it was
No,
showed enough
I
creative.
think it's been around for centuries, and I believe what happened is that when you go to a fresh markets where they kill live animals and don't sanitize, then your disease can come. And I
That's
think
what they want you to believe.
I've been thinking about this for years. When I can kill, I can pour blood down, and a person can walk around. I mean, when you start doing that, eventually something is going to create and mutate to a disease. And every decade or every 50 years, I would say every 50 years, you're going to get a virus.
Right.
Science has been waiting on it. So we're a little behind the time.
Yeah. Well, I personally have my beliefs, and that's good. Everybody who's listening to this podcast or on YouTube, you can have your belief. And that is what makes this country one of the greatest countries in the world, is where we can have our own beliefs. And I did make that comment of the greatest country in the world in this climate. And I know that's going to come with a lot of criticism, but despite everything, we, the United States of America, have the opportunity to make a change, and we have the opportunity to forge forward and right the wrongs and move forward and continue to be the greatest country on earth. But hey, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on in the show. And right, I guess it's I guess it's right in the perfect placement, especially where I was going with it is we are all dealing with our own personal opinions about what happened to Mr. George Floyd. Many people that are listening to this podcast, I think anybody that follows me or that are ties to me, I think would probably share my beliefs in this in this turn. I mean, I don't even know what label to put it. I mean, it's a murder. I mean, it's just
Absolute.
yeah.
It's murder.
Yeah. So right now, what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. George Floyd, who was murdered. Well, he was strangled in Minnesota, Minneapolis, by the hands of the Minneapolis Police Department. He was a person of interest in a potential forgery call where a store called and said that forged documents were being used. The Minneapolis Police Department came out to investigate. They found him, and I believe he was with he was with someone. Was he with his girlfriend, or who was he with?
No. He was with another gentleman.
Okay, so I know he was in a car, and they
Yeah, he was
walked
on
up to the
passenger side.
they walked up to the car. I think he was on the driver's side. He was on the driver's side. The video I saw, he was on the driver's side. They had the video from the actual store, I think, on the corner of the store, but he was on the driver's side. So basically, they walk up to him and they do all of the police stuff that you normally should do, and they try to question and all that. But the part that 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 the country is just in an uproar, which we should be, because it was just wrong.
Mad as hell.
No justification can
Mad as hell.
even. Anyway, so they continue with this traffic stop and not traffic stop. Sorry, the talking and investigating and whatever they're attempting to do. But then it goes towards him on the street beside the police car on his face. He's belly down, handcuffed, with, I think at that point in the beginning it was just 2 officers or 3 that was around him, and then the officer that that killed him. I mean, I'm gonna say allegedly because he ain't proven guilty, but he did it. I mean, obviously we see it on the tape, but for protection for this platform,
today.
Yeah, he
hell with alleged.
Absolutely.
We're gonna say guilty.
Right.
Guilty.
Right.
Guilty.
So then it shows you where this police officer is kneeling on his neck for a duration of 8 minutes.
He looks at the camera and then you can see it pushing down on him.
More force. On a person that is on the ground in handcuffs, duly detained. He is detained at this point. And how now Rodney sent me something last night, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Rodney about this police officer. Rodney, tell me a little bit about the man the coward who killed Mr. Floyd.
Let me tell you something, man. That dude had a whole ground full of stuff, man. You know, talking about complaints against him, talking about, you know what I'm saying, just over a lot, you know. But that still don't pass the fact of what had happened, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pissed off about that. That right there alone, if I would have been standing there, I'm five. Dude, you got the man in handcuffs, you can't get off his neck. I'm telling you, I'm popping the police. That's just what would have had to happen.
Right.
And that's the statement now. Like, we need to force them back to take another look at their own unit. Don't sit there and just think we just cattle out here that y'all can come and just kill or butcher whenever you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because if that would have been us, let's say the tables were turned, and we were doing your family members like that, you would want some justice behind what should happen. You know what I'm saying? I think they just wasn't human that day, man. All 4 of them cops need to be charged behind that.
Right. So now, as of today, May 29th, Mr. George Floyd was murdered by the police officer on May 25th. The prosecutor for the city of Minneapolis, the district, the prosecutor, came out today and said that they basically got the cop arrested. The cop is arrested as of now. And it took them 4 days to arrest someone who was on tape murdering someone. And the prosecutor had the audacity to say today that this is the fastest arrest ever made to a police officer in this circumstance. When you have video of him literally kneeling on this man's neck for 8 minutes or however the duration, it was too damn long. No matter how, I don't care if it was anything over 60 seconds, that's enough to detain him.
It's too long.
Exactly. That's enough. That 60 seconds or less is enough to put the hand. Because once he has handcuffs and you have sufficient backup, the escalation of you de-escalate at that point. You de-escalate. You pick him up and put him in the car.
EMTs behind that too now.
Right. The what ENT?
I need to go get the EMTs behind that too.
What did they eat?
I just think him like he was a rag dog.
Right. Because they already knew. They already knew.
Yeah.
They already knew.
Come on, that's why I say it was a hit, man.
Yeah.
It was a hit. I don't know how true this is, but I seen online where they said he used to work at a nightclub together with that dude.
Hold a minute.
You see what I'm saying?
Hold a minute. Now this is alleged. What you say now? George Floyd worked at the nightclub and the police officer served.
The dude that killed him a long time ago. Now I don't know how true that is. I know the internet can sit there and lie and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just saying.
Wow.
If that is the case, they had beef way back then.
Wow. That is absolutely crazy. So I'm gonna read this here about Derek Chauvin. Is it Chauvin? Chauvin?
Chauvin.
Whatever the hell his name is. All right, Derek.
Call him the murderer.
So the restraint technique used was not a part. So first of all, the restraint was not. The restraint was not trained by the police department.
It's a ninja move, man. That's a ninja move, man.
Right. In 2011, he was put on leave for inappropriate police shooting of a Alaskan Native American, Leroy Martinez. He also shot Ira Toles, a unarmed black 21-year-old man, in 2008. He was the officer who murdered Wayne Reyes, a Latino man, with 16 bullets forced into him. They shot a total of 42 rounds. He was also another officer chasing. He and another officer were chasing the car in 2005, causing the death of 3 people, according to the community against police brutality. And there are 12 police brutality complaints against him. And the Minneapolis police officer conducted hold on a minute. Let me read it. Against him in the Minneapolis Office of Police Conduct Complaint Database. So basically, his own people at this point had started to, accumulate all of these charges, but there was no discipline. Yeah. And also another thing that I want to.
I think he had like 4 write-ups and only one. Out of all his complaints, he only had one discipline. It was a write-up.
Right.
I mean, he outright murdered 4 people.
Yeah, I mean, and when you add all of this up, you can't help but to say BS. I mean, it's the Minneapolis Police Department. We all are reminded of, or we should be reminded of, a man by the name of Philando Castile, shot and killed in his driver's seat. That's right. In the same city, the same area.
That's right.
So, God, man, I believe that things happen. I believe this for the life of me. Everything happens for a reason. There's a reason that this police department is continuously having these problems because they're not.
It ain't even just that police department though. It ain't even just that police department. It's across the land.
Well, yeah, there are other departments.
But check this out though. So if it's across the land and it's happening in all these areas and it's well known that this is happening, the president want to talk about what? He ain't talking about the important stuff.
Right.
See, I don't know how old, not old, but if she know Goody Mob.
Hey, he probably.
And there's a scene damn well he don't know. Up there say that the system is designed to keep our third eye blind.
Right.
We're not what the other two, what our other 2 eyes can't see. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's mindsets like that got to take people down.
Right.
If you keep your mind occupied
and if you
with
got social media in front of them, you can show them whatever. Right. You see what I'm saying? That's why TV is so powerful.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah,
you know.
It is. I want to play something here for everybody real fast here. Well, I want to play some. Here we go. Okay, you ain't cooperating today.
Any racist that's straight up block. It's fine. It's ready. Don't need you on my page. And if you're a fan of me and you support my work and you're racist and you're arguing with what I was saying, off. You kids. Yeah? So I straight up like that. That's how it's gonna go. And throughout my whole career as an actor, I want to let you guys know this. I'm not the guy. I'm not Hollywood. I never ever left the UK to go and live in LA for over a year. I never did. I'm from London. I'm from here. We have different rules. We're real. We speak truth. Where are emotions on the wrist? I'm also African. So stop taking a piss. So I say it again. You racist white people. I said what I said. And if you don't like it, go suck a.
That was John Boyega, the actor in Star Wars. He came out the other day, and this is his response to what happened to George Floyd. And I was reading an article that talked about complicity, silence equals complicity.
Of course.
Complicity. To be complicit in this crime when you, on the other side, you're part of the people that are doing this to this other side. You have to come out and say that what that police officer did was just dang on right wrong, period. You can't explain it away. You can't excuse it away. You have to call it for what it is. And so now we're starting to see celebrities like John Boyega come out and say, damn my career, damn the money. I'm going to speak what I want. Exactly. Yeah.
But what John forgets is that America is built off Britain.
Well, the fundamentals, yeah, in some ways, yeah.
America is built on what they put this place into in
Britain. And
you know what I'm saying?
And
Look,
London has its own racism issues. So I don't know. You know, we're not gonna delve deep into him, but he forgets that if he check around his back door.
No, that's not what John was saying. John was basically coming out and saying that F you racist white people who continue to try and shoo this away.
But he said London don't have the issue.
No, he didn't say London don't have the issue. What he said was the black people in London aren't probably the same as the black people in America. I don't know exactly. He didn't elaborate.
This is London.
Right, but still, the sentiments of me playing that was just to show how the celebrities now are coming out against this
many
notion.
Many.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question though. Where these police officers that they talk about that be sitting up there talking about what they ain't against, what they're against?
Right.
Cause see, this how I look at it. You got these cops out here doing these type of killings. You got them. I'm talking about on tape, on camera, knocking down a 90-year-old woman just to lock somebody up for goddamn not using their turn signal. You see what I'm saying? You got people in videos of police officers walking up to their car screaming guns just so, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Right.
When does that start to like sit in the officer who's the good guy? Mind itself and say, man, we gotta stop this, y'all. This because we gonna lose community, this and that. In a minute, guess what's gonna happen? Police officers gonna end up getting hits. First time you hear a police officer get pulled over, shot in the face, and telling it's gonna be because they ain't changed the way they at.
Mm-hmm.
Don't happen. You know, New World Order, man. I'm telling you, everything just ain't just control mind. Nah, it's also to shift hearts too.
Right.
Cause look how much racism done popped out, and it's been there for years.
Of course.
For years. It ain't never left. Only thing it is now is that they getting a lot comfortable stepping forward. And in a minute, hey, it's gonna be a war.
Right.
People gonna start shooting and killing, and it's gonna be the wrong ones that we want to see dead.
Yeah. All right, I just wanted to continue. The next part of this case is just to talk about the people that are looting right now, that are going into every establishment and trying to incite some type of. I don't know. Looting to me has never made like a whole heap of sense. I understand why you get upset and you now, for me, and I'm just going to say this. If you loot at the police department and you loot his damn house, that to me, I think, okay. But to go and loot a random business like Target or another black-owned business, I don't see where that makes sense. Take it out on the damn
Really,
people.
any business, to be honest. I don't care if it's black or white.
Right. But I
it.
agree. I agree with burning down the police station. I don't give a damn what you say. They should have burnt the motherfucker down to a crisp.
Hey, sometimes, hey,
That is
look,
me.
this is what I've been telling folks who've been asking me about my.
Go ahead, Rodney.
This what I've been telling folks who ask me about my opinion. They kept asking for the wolves. Now the wolves are out.
Right.
They out now.
I don't think nobody should resort to violence. But when you gotta build up frustration, but you gotta build up frustration and build up anger.
You gotta think of how long it's been going on. In 30
and
days,
nobody's hearing your cry.
6 killings.
Yeah, that's what
In
that's all
30
about.
days, in 30 days, we done had 6 killings of officers killing black folks. In 30 days, go do it. Google it right now.
All right. But here's the thing about that. That's just what we know.
Exactly.
That's just what we know.
Because everything don't make the news and don't make our way. But what I'm saying is, though, regardless of the fact, the frustration already been there. This goes all the way back to when Trayvon Martin started.
Of course.
Way before.
That when Rodney King started. That when Martin Luther King got killed.
Emmett Till.
You see what I'm saying? That when Malcolm X got killed. All this shit started back then. This ain't just been, this was going to happen.
Yeah.
The new generation is wilder too. Oh my God, we got little dudes out here popping pencils at the age of 7.
Right. Yes.
They already one-minded.
Right.
What you thought was gonna happen? You pulling this kind of stuff. You riled them up. Look at CNN right now.
Right. The hate you give. The hate you give.
It just sometimes it just get to you because you can't hardly get out of bed.
Yeah.
And
but they do need to take that train back to the mall.
Hey, what back?
They need to take the train back to the mall they done stole out of Mall of America. They need to take the train back.
I think people they were taking mannequins. They were taking blow-up beds and everything.
Hey, that's the train, y'all. Lord, gee, go take them trains back. Y'all need to go and sit down somewhere. But here's the thing. People always say, one of the quotes I live by is, if you slap me, you can't tell me how to react. And that's what's happening right now.
You better run.
That's what's happening right now. They done slapped somebody, and the people are reacting, and now everybody's saying, hold on, you can't react that way. Well, you can't tell people how to react. You can't tell people how to react.
That's right.
So,
if you hang me and I live, you damn sure can't tell me how to react.
Right. So it's just a very it's a mixed bag.
Let me ask you this. This is a big question for a lot of people who probably got this on their mind.
Sure.
Now, what you do if you get pulled over by the police?
Me personally?
I'm just saying, like, do you comply and wait for them to show their true colors?
Yeah,
or do you just say, nah, I ain't hearing it tonight? You see what I'm saying? That's what folks don't have on their mind.
See, this is the tough conversation here, right? This is the thing that people we right now, the hearts are not ready to have that conversation. Truly, not a real conversation about it.
Yes, we are. We're always ready to have
that
conversation.
No.
Yes,
I will say this right now, because we as black people right now, we're dealing with George Floyd. Nobody wants to hear that compliance is a necessity.
But to keep you alive, I got to say law and order.
You have to comply.
But
you do.
I have to say that to keep you alive, keep me alive.
Yeah, but
what's the boy name that died in the car that got pulled over by the police and he was complying?
Philando Castile?
Still got shot. Still got
to comply.
What about the man? What about the man in New York who got choked out for selling loose cigarettes? He was complying. Still got.
Well,
you know, if we go Wild West like we back in 1700, then you get nothing to solve. It's gonna be, you'll be like in the Civil War, and you can't go there. You definitely cannot go there. So you got to start out complying.
Well, you have to comply. You do have to comply, and everybody's mindset is different. You know, to each his own. You have your own life to live, and I hope and pray that everybody's listening to this podcast or this show today choose to make the right decisions. But complying with the police officers is a responsibility that we all have. Now, whether or not you exercise that responsibility and you do it, that's another thing. Me personally, as an African-American man at the age of 29 years old, I can say I have never yet, because I'm not excused by any means, and I'm not pointing the blame at people that ultimately get killed by police officers. I'm not saying that they are the reason, you know what I mean, by non-compliance. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is I have never had a situation where things went that way. But for me, typically, my background is just interesting because I was a military police for 6 years, joined the National Guard. So I get authority and control. But I also know people that do not agree with that. They don't like police officers. So when you pull somebody over that have that mentality, as soon as you walk up to the window, the stop is pretty much gone. Because their mentality is, what the fuck you pull me over for? Or, all right, go ahead and give me the ticket, man. Just get the hell on out my face or whatever. And then people are only human at the end of the day. Police officers are only human too. So, but that's why I say that's a tough conversation to have in this climate today, because there is truth to compliance. You have to comply with the police officers, or else.
Yeah, but
especially when you're black.
I am 60 years old, so I was born a little. I'm like
right.
30 years old in Europe.
Right.
So what I saw growing up in the South, even though I lived in different regions in America, but what I saw with my dad, it instilled in me law and order.
Right.
And it was embedded in me, and I resisted, and I used to almost get my father in trouble by it because I was boisterous.
Right.
So to calm down, not to get my dad head bashed in or my brother's head, because I was like, why you get down on the sidewalk?
Right.
Why you doing that, Dad?
Right.
This is in the
the times. Yeah,
early
the times.
60s,
Yeah, the
70s.
times were completely different.
So, and I used to see my dad get pulled over. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah.
Young men is not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that.
Right.
But I'm not gonna get out saying yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm gonna give my registration, my identification.
Right.
And that's gonna be it.
Right.
And I'm gonna get me a damn camera in that damn car too.
Right.
All of us should.
Yeah.
No, they're right.
Well, let's move on to the next topic, and we're going to go ahead and accelerate this show. We've been going now for about an hour, so we want to kind of keep this podcast not too long, but yeah. Central Park, Amy, thoughts? She was trying to peddle in the same fear-mongering, right, against black people. I'm going to call the police on you because you're black, and they're going to believe me because you're black. Only thing I got to say is a black man in the park. You notice when you watch the video, she said it one time, and they asked her, huh? And she was like, how dare you? Almost, she didn't even,
frantic.
Right.
Because you got to hear me as a black man. He going to take me in the dog.
Go ahead, Rodney.
I got one better. Why ain't nobody say how she was manhandling dog?
Absolutely.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
poor dog.
Because I was sitting there looking, I was like, okay.
I bet all the black folks say, man, fuck what she talking about, my bad on the cousin. But, she manhandling that dog like, come on, man.
Right.
But she's trying to worry about, because this dude told her to put the leash on the dog. Man, I might not like dogs. Why you can't respect that?
Well,
and it's the law, too, by the way.
You're right. And what I noticed is that I kept waiting for pop, 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 pop. I kept waiting for it. I was like, Lord, don't let him get killed. Don't let him get killed. So I didn't hear bullets, and he said, call him. So I said, he going to be safe. Okay, he going to be safe. Then I started looking at the end of the video. I said, she going to kill the dog. What is going on? The poor dog is being choked.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump in right here. If you want to see more of this podcast, definitely go ahead and Google, or in the description box, we're going to tell you where you can get the podcast version of this video. We're going to go ahead and end the live streaming now, but definitely go ahead and cop the, everybody see my camera light is flashing. That's why I'm wrapping up on the video. In the future, we're going to have where the camera is not battery operated. So definitely go ahead and look in the description box and figure out where you can get the rest of this podcast. So we'll see y'all on the next stream live, but we're still going to be recording this show. So yeah, we'll see you then. All right, so we're still recording the show, us three, but we're not on the